I'm a candidate for the City of Stirling, Osborne Ward. It's the election that's coming up in October of this year. And for some time now, we've been talking about the Local Government People's Program. Well, it's here, and we're delighted that you're tuning in. I have a special guest today that I'll be introducing to you very shortly, but I just want to tell you a little bit about this particular program. This program is about the people. It is called the Local Government People's Program. It's an opportunity for people to ask questions, people to be heard, people to come forward and tell us what's bothering them in their community, what's being done, what's not being done, and what should be done. Why don't you tune in, listen to our interviews, tell people about us, and tell us about your particular issues, and we'll deal with them. Today we're going to talk about question time. One of the things that local governments have is a thing called question time. It normally happens just before the council meeting starts. In fact, the meeting is opened, and the first thing that happens is opportunities are afforded to ratepayers and residents that are present at the meeting to ask questions. And there is a 15-minute time slot allotted. And in that time, people can ask questions, and of course, the council or the presiding officer, in this particular case, the president or the mayor, actually answers the question. If he can't answer the question, he'll then actually revert to one of the official officers, the chief executive officer or the finance manager or whatever. So question time in recent times at the City of Stirling, I'd like to talk about today, has not really been conducted in what we consider to be the best way. A regular that goes there is a fellow by the name of Jack Garber. Jack is a candidate in the Hammersley ward of the City of Stirling. The election's coming up in October, as I mentioned earlier. And Jack, of course, is quite concerned. He's a regular goer to the meetings. He asks a lot of questions at the meeting. He gets shut down quite a few times. And one particular time, Jack was actually ejected from the meeting. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Welcome to the show, Jack. It's really great to have you here. And I'm really sorry to hear about the mishap that you had at the City of Stirling in recent times. I know that you're quite concerned about that particular ordeal. How are you feeling?
Well, thank you very much, Adam. Look, my role as a community member is to ensure that the meetings remain open and transparent, and that community members are respected and have their say in local government. The fact is that in the City of Stirling, the mayor has shut off my microphone in the past, several times in the past 6 months. As you mentioned, he had me ejected from council on one occasion, and he defends himself by making statements that are misrepresentations of the true facts. So I'm not feeling well about our local government representation, in particularly some of the elected officials, including our mayor in Stirling, and I have sincere questions about some of the officers.
Jack, one of the things that has been on my mind for some time, ever since I read about this in the community newspaper, is the fact that the actual actions of the council, in my view, were unauthorised or unlawful. I know of no provision under the Local Government Act where a person can actually be ejected on the basis that they stood up and asked a legitimate question.
Well, actually, there is a provision that does put the mayor in charge of questioning time. However, in
charge,
yes,
but not. He does not have the power to actually eject or have a person removed by a council official. That's my understanding.
Well, there is a grey area.
There's a fine line.
There's a fine line there. The fact is that in this particular case, that we're talking about, the February incident, I wasn't allowed to complete the question.
Right.
I was still forming the question when my microphone was shut off.
Right.
And the mayor, the official in charge at that particular time, presumed he knew what my question was going to be.
Yeah. So he preambled your question.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a preemptive censorship of my right to express political speech.
Yeah. Look, let's understand what question time is about. And correct me if I'm wrong here. As I say, you're a regular goer and you know how it's conducted. My understanding is a ratepayer or a resident can actually ask a question on the agenda or any question relative to council business. Is that still the case?
Well, that is the case, and that's part of the issue as well. That there are many ratepayers and citizens of the community who are interested in just venting. They want the council members, they want the mayor, they want the officers, the delegated authorities to know and understand their situation within the community.
Certainly.
And those attempts to merely communicate their thoughts, their concerns, their issues are often cut short at the council meetings, where the mayor says, "We'll get to your question."
Yeah.
So it is, in my estimation, it is something that it should be allowed. That these are individuals who are ratepayers. They're concerned enough to attend a meeting and to be cut off mid-sentence or to be instructed to get to the question is just highly inappropriate.
And disrespectful in my view.
Absolutely.
Look, Jack, recently I understand that a person actually asked a question during question time, and the question was asked of the manager of planning or the director of planning. I'm not sure what the titles are these days, as they tend to change them from time to time. And the question was, can you please define amenities? Now, the question was raised. Everyone looked at each other because nobody knew what the answer was. And guess what? My understanding was that the question was actually taken on notice.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
That was at the last council meeting.
Okay.
And the officer at that meeting was Fraser Henderson, who is not the head of the planning. Ross Povey is the head of planning.
So he was acting.
Ross was acting. Mm-hmm. And a question from the community was define amenities. A very simple question, because the term amenities appears in a number of locations when it comes to making decisions pertaining to building permits and other issues within the community for the benefit of property owners.
Yeah, it's also, as you say, featured in a number of policies.
Yes.
When it talks amenities, people need to know what that definition is. And I think that a person at that level of the administration should know that off the top of their head. That's my position.
Yeah, absolutely. It just goes to show the fact that individuals within the city of Stirling have questionable capabilities.
Understand. Jack, the other thing I was going to mention was, obviously, people go to the council meeting, they have concerns, they ask a question. Now, in recent times, I understand that the mayor of the city actually had some concerns about some of the complaints that are being made by question time, along the lines of that, hey, that's not really true that we gag ratepayers, and hey, that's not really true that we don't give people a fair go. It's just that what's been happening, people have been asking the same questions. And you know what, there are other people waiting there to ask questions, and it's not fair on them. Look, I agree with that. What I disagree with is that you're not giving the right answers. If it's not a matter that's to deal with the City of Stirling, for example, it's a water corporation matter or it's a West Australian Planning Commission matter, well then tell the people that. Don't just rule them out of order, because that's what appears to be happening. Is that correct, Jack? That
is. And most recently, I attempted to ask a question pertaining to the WorkSafe improvement notice for the city of Stirling, and I've had privy to the FOI documents pertaining to that WorkSafe improvement notice, and I was attempting to ask a question regarding the documents that I received under FOI. And I was ruled out of order that it was not a City of Stirling subject matter. However, Councillor Liz Reed has suffered huge sanctions over that that WorkSafe
Yes.
improvement notice. So I think it's something we should be discussing.
Well, that's a matter that we'll be talking about
Yes.
as well, because WorkSafe is an important issue, and I think how it's applied is also very important, and to whom it's applied to
That's correct.
is very important. All right, Jack, look, I think we'll leave it there for the time being. Suffice to say that this particular program, the Local Government People's Program, is not designed as a witch hunt. We are very serious about trying to solve the problems of people. We are very serious about hearing about your problems. So please, if you have anything at all to do, it doesn't have to be with the City of Stirling, it can be with any other local authority. If you think we can help you and you want an opportunity to air your position on the station, 101 Business Radio, please get in contact with us.